third of British children being overweight or obese by the time they leave primary school, it's never been more important to talk to our kids about food and nutrition.
But should the word fat ever be used to describe those who are on the heavier side? And you and I disagree on this one, don't we?
I do disagree. Sorry.
Pete thinks we need to be very careful about the way that we speak to overweight people. I think that it's just a technical term. But let's speak...
I'm ready for this.
Yeah, let's speak to weight loss expert Steve Miller and nutritionist Rhiannon Lambert, who both say the word fat is OK to encourage healthy eating habits. This is fabulous news. You're both on my side. Let's start with you, Rhiannon. You're a nutritionist and an author. So why don't you think fat is a bad word necessarily, and we are OK to use it?
I think, first of all, thank you for having this discussion, because I do think that we need to be compassionate and kind in the way we use the term. Now, I think it's okay to use descriptive words, and I do think if we start banning words and use language in a certain way, it can have such a negative impact on shaping young minds. And, you know, I'm a parent myself, and I would dread to think of any negative language pointed towards my children. But I think it's okay to use these terms if they're used in a factual, correct way, where we're not being negative with a fat bias, if that makes sense. Because a lot of people, I think, use it to bring about shame, to bring about guilt. And actually, if we just accept that, you know, some people are larger than others, it's okay to have different body shapes and sizes. And it's the way the word fat is used. But, you know, nutritionally speaking, our diets play a huge role here. We know that, you know, 73% of the public, according to research I looked at by California Almonds, you know, don't really know what's going on in their diets. They experience gut issues. And there's a lot of stuff here we need to discuss, because nutritional education is key.
I mean, I don't normally like the fact that over time we have to change words that we've been using forever. But on this, I do think that, you know, with bullying and all the things that go on, you know, that word is sort of looked at in a way that's shameful, a way that something's not right. There are so many other ways you can say it. Someone being slightly overweight, or somebody that needs to go and just check with their GP that all their bloods are correct. I can understand that. But the word fat is, for me, it is an offensive word. It's one of those words that I don't like that is being used at all.
What do you make of it, Steve?
I think it's cobblers. I think what's happened is we've gone into this lovely world of political correctness where we think that if you use the word fat, people are suddenly going to have an eating disorder. It is absolute nonsense. And actually, the word fat is used by the Fat Acceptance Brigade. One of the reasons this country has become so fat is we are now singing that song. If you're happy and you're fat, clap your hands. And that's the problem. So I think we've also got to say kids are more resilient. And also, they are resilient. They can understand the difference between being, you know, they understand the words fat and they understand the word thin. We don't seem to have a problem when we use the word too thin. The issue with child obesity, though, as well, in terms of communicating with our children, is parents. Parents need to realise that their non-verbal communication with their kids is really important. And I'm afraid we have too many podgy parents in this country. Again, they need to be told to stop gorging themselves and start being the role model to the kids.
But you see, this is where I disagree with you. You see, if you think, yes, it's up to the parents for us to teach our kids and for us to set the right example. But I'm going to give you an example of when I was a kid and people used to pick on me for the curly hair I had, which I still straighten to this day because I don't want to see in the mirror what those kids were calling me. It had a profound effect on me. Somebody calling you a word I won't use on TV, but what they used to call me because of the curly hair. You say to someone you're fat, you say that words like that, it can affect them long term. It's not just, it's not about being politically correct. It's about encouraging your kids to be active, encouraging them about good foods. You don't have to use the term fat. That's my honest opinion.
Well, I don't agree with you. I think it's how it's delivered. The word fat can be delivered with compassion. It's not about running around the house saying, "Oi, Jimmy, you're getting really like a massive fatty." That would be wrong. I agree with you on that point. But if you're talking about being fat as wrong and being too thin as wrong, what's the problem with that? Absolutely nothing. This is the problem, you see. We're normalising it. We can't even use the word fat now. The world's gone bonkers. Wokery on steroids.
No, it's not being woke. I'm not. I'm honestly not. It's just certain words I don't think they were ever right. I don't think it's one of these things that you need to change now just because time's changing. It was never right.
Rhiannon, what do you think?
I mean, I can see both sides of the argument here. Now, as a nutrition professional, I work day in, day out with parents, with children that are looking to optimize their health, you know, their gut health, everything really. And I do think language can have a profound effect on our youngsters. You know, it's so important that parents are role models. Let's just discuss this for the fact. I don't agree actually that it's about how parents look. I think it's about how they raise their children, how they talk to their children, how they speak about themselves. They shouldn't be talking about their shape or size in a negative way in front of their children, because it can instill a negative relationship with food.
What do we do then? What do we do then? It's all right, you three saying, oh, you shouldn't say this and you shouldn't say that. What do we do? I don't agree with you. Parents should be the role models. And if parents are taking their children out and they're fat themselves, and those kids are eating burgers and the children are too fat, that's child cruelty in my book. Child cruelty. We used to say that underfeeding was child cruelty. Overfeeding these days is child cruelty.
Nutrition is immensely important, and that's exactly what I just said, actually. I said that I think parents should speak in a positive way to their children and shape their mental health, which is incredibly important.
Absolutely.
But as a health professional myself, I do believe that the education isn't there. And I don't have all the answers for the obesity epidemic that we are currently in, because it's a multifactorial problem. We've got psychology issues, we've got governmental, who's, you know, regulating the food industry, where's the money going, where's the advertising money going, marketing campaigns. What about the nutritional education?
You're talking about the problems, you're not talking about the solutions. You're talking about the problems, not solutions. The problem with the solution with childhood obesity is, number one, parent role models. Parenting is power. We know that. And don't get me wrong, there are many fantastic parents out there. But I'm telling you now, in my opinion, there are many parents out there that do an horrendous job, that actually stuff their faces, sitting on a sofa with their kids, getting fatter and fatter, and allowing their kids to do the same. That is wrong. That is cruelty. And the ticket to solving the child obesity epidemic, whatever we want to call it, is through parenting, not expecting everyone else to do it for them. If you're having kids, they're your responsibility. You think before you breed.
That's agreed, but still the words you use will have a profound effect.
Social media, let's talk about the fact that a lot of people are going to the wrong resources for nutritional information and help. Like, people are going to TikTok for crazes on nutritional fad diets. Parents don't know where to turn. I'm not saying I defend people that feed their children poorly if they know better. I'm saying some people maybe don't know. And I really wish that we could get the healthy nutritional information out there to parents, because we know that...
No. And the thing is, Peter, I have to take issue, here, when it comes to TikTok, what happens on TikTok a lot nowadays is we're celebrating fat. Do you think we should celebrate fat, Peter?
No, I think as parents, we should be encouraging our children to be active. It's one of the most important things. When you're active as a child, you end up making better choices overall. You're outdoors, you're doing things, you're drinking water, you're having fruit. My point is that the words we use to our kids, I promise you, will have a long-lasting effect, and we've got to be careful what we say to them. I've been guilty of things.
I know. Listen. I have to say, I agree totally with you. I could hug you for that one, right? You're right. Kids should be out playing with their parents and all of that sort of thing. The word fat won't kill you. Being fat will. And I'm afraid that's the sort of message we need to be putting out there. We need to be braver. We need to be bolder. We need to be stronger, like they do in Japan. Japan has 5% obesity. In this country, quadruple it.
Rhiannon, 10 seconds from you. We're going to give you the final word on this.
I think ultimately, when we know that 43% of people in the country don't know fibre is even good for them, that's a stat from California Almonds, I think we need to really get to the point that nutritional education can make a huge difference, but just as much as positive language and support. And I agree, we need to get comfortable with the language we use, and it's okay to use words in the right way.
OK, Steve, Rhiannon, thank you so much for your time this morning. Do get in touch with your view on that. We know lots of you are going to have an opinion. gbviews@gbnews.com.